I got a phone call at 8:30 in the morning, and it was this woman, Paula, calling from the North Shore Cancer Center. I hung up the phone, and I looked at Robert, and I said, I have cancer.
Look around, inhale from your toes.
It's just so unbelievable. What? Cervical cancer? Like, I didn't even know. I don't know. It had never even entered my mind.
Swallow hard.
I didn't know that that's why I went to the doctor every year for my pap test. You know, I just knew that I had to go to get my birth control pills.
No fear to be found.
I didn't even know really where my cervix was.
You've got my yellow umbrella, yeah.
I had my eye on the prize. I knew that I was gonna be a musician.
And I'm doing the cosmic dance. And I refuse.
Then to have cancer come into your world, it just stops everything.
Just make it last.
10 days after my diagnosis, I had a radical hysterectomy, and I started 5 weeks of daily pelvic radiation, concurrent with 4 rounds of chemotherapy. Following that, I had 3 rounds of internal radiation. It consumed all of me. I felt so paralyzed. I felt like I was completely empty. I would look inside me, and I wouldn't even know who I am. I mean, the biggest clue to that was that the piano, like the whole thing for me, you know, playing the piano, singing songs, writing songs, that's like what made me tick. That was me, my passion, and I didn't feel it. I would sit down and I'd try to play, and I would just cry because I felt like I lost everything that I had worked so hard for. This identity that I had for myself as a musician was no longer there, and it was terrible for me. Until I watched this movie, Harold and Maude.
Trouble, trouble, move away. I have seen your face, and it's too much for me today.
I heard that song, and I was like, that's my song. And it's time for me to play my song. I started figuring out the chords, you know, and I was thinking of the lyrics, and I started singing, and I started playing, and I started crying. And this time it was totally different. It was this amazing cathartic cry. It was the light turning back on inside of me. That's when I decided that I needed to do something, and I needed to give back, because I was grateful to be alive. I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference so that other people don't have to be in my shoes. And the more I learned about cervical cancer, the more I was like, what is going on with this? Why don't more people know this information? I had cancer because the tests that they were using on me were not accurate enough to detect what was happening to my body. So they missed it year after year, even though I was going in for these tests, and I fell through the cracks. So the more I learned, the more I started to realize that there were actually things that women could do to prevent it. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, we know what causes this cancer? HPV, human papillomavirus. And there's an HPV test, and a woman can be given this test, and then she can know whether or not she's carrying the HPV virus and whether or not she is at risk. Like, that is so cool. If you know that you have the virus, you can watch it and you can be monitored more closely so that you catch it before it becomes invasive. You don't have to lose a thing.
Say something. Say something to me. Say something. Say something. Say something to me.
So I was like, wow, I need to let everybody know this. And I said I want to have a benefit concert. Next thing you know, we're having it at the Paradise, this wonderful club that as a musician, I've dreamed about playing. And it was so amazing for me to play songs that I wrote after after this experience. And I was in every newspaper, like my face and my story, and my music was being talked about and being played on the radio. And I was on the radio and I was on TV. People were coming to talk to me and wanted to hear what I had to say. And I said, I want this to continue. Let's keep this going. And that's when we came up with the idea to take it on the road. We called it the Yellow Umbrella Tour after one of my songs and got a lot of attention out of it. I am so completely flattered by that. I'm flattered that people want to listen to me, that they're going, wow, tell me more about your story. I want to hear more. And I'm like, can I sing you a song instead?
Say something to me, say something.
Now, the Yellow Umbrella Tour has just gotten that much bigger and better. We're gonna take it all across the country. And I'm gonna say what I have to say loud and clear.
What would you say if you were me? Say something.
I really look forward to the day when no woman will have to suffer unnecessarily, when no one will lose their life to this disease, when no family member will have to stand by and watch another one suffer. I'm going to make sure that I see that day. I know that it will happen because it can happen. We have the answers. We know what we need to do. Every woman needs to have a conversation with their doctor. Every woman needs to go to their doctor and be like, hey, I want to know about the human papillomavirus and what I need to do to figure out if I have that or not. Would you please give me the HPV test with my Pap test? That is what women need to do.